We're building a buckets table directly inside DAX query view using data table. This table defines categories such as recent week, last 2 weeks, current month, and so on. By combining this with the projects table, we can debug how projects are assigned to buckets and before committing the logic into a calculated table or measure. Fields we'll use from the projects table. Project ID is a unique identifier for each project. Actual start date is the project's actual start date, used for time-based bucketing. Status, these are in progress, completed, and if status is not started, then it is an upcoming projects. In DAX query view, every query must start with evaluate. Unlike calculated tables, we don't assign a name here, we just return the table directly. Running this query shows the result set in query view, perfect for debugging. Data table lets us create a small table directly in DAX. We define 2 columns. Bucket name is the label we'll show in reports. Bucket order is a numeric order so buckets sort correctly. Each row is a bucket definition. For example, recent week, 1 means the bucket called recent week has order. This is essentially our lookup table for time categories. Select columns pulls only the fields we need from the projects table: project ID, start date, and status. Cross-join combines every project with every bucket. At this point, each project is duplicated 12 times, once for each bucket. Think of this as the raw playground where projects and buckets meet. Later, we'll filter down to the correct bucket for each project. Filter is the step that decides which of the duplicate rows survive. Remember, after the cross-join, each project is paired with all 12 buckets. We define 3 variables for readability: base date, bucket name, and status. 2 main rules drive the logic. 1. Not started projects. We'll only keep the row where the bucket is upcoming projects. 2. Started projects will use switch true to test conditions against today's date. For example, if the start date is within 7 days, the project matches recent week. If it's within 14 days, it matches last 2 weeks. If it's in the same month as today, it matches current month, and so on. If none of the conditions are met, the row is discarded. That's why projects without valid dates or statuses won't appear in the final table. After filtering, we now have the correct bucket assigned for each project. Select columns trims the output down to just the fields we care about: project ID, bucket name, and bucket order. This step makes the result set clean and easy to read. Instead of showing all the intermediate logic, we only keep the essential fields that matter for reporting. Why debug in query view? Immediate feedback to see the raw table output before building visuals. Logic validation to confirm that projects fall into the right bucket. Iterative refinement to adjust bucket definitions without touching the model, and stakeholder clarity to show a simple table of timeline bucket to explain logic before designing KPI cards. Now that everything is good in DAX query view, let's make the DAX table and see the link of project and project bucket.